Hi everyone, it's Steph and welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about the IWEAVEIT software for iPad and iPhone, and specifically how to use it for a Rigid Heddle Loom. I've been using the software since 2022 and it's made such a difference to my planning, my projects and my patterns. I love the fact that I can have it on my iPad and my iPhone, which means if I'm stuck waiting or on a bus or a train, it's really fun to sit there and fiddle and design and save it so that I can look at it later. Quite a few of you have asked me about this software and asked me to do a tutorial on how to use it. So today we're going to explore the IWEAVEIT software by Canyon Art and how to use it very specifically for a Rigid Heddle Loom. So first, let's look at where to find the software and how to download it to your PC, iPad or iPhone. If you type into your browser weaveit.com, it's going to take you to this page. The software was developed by Canyon Art, and I think the lady who developed its name is Sally. If you go to this website, then you can see the web software all available. You can actually see here that you can use it on a PC or a Mac or Windows, and there's links for how to actually download it for these programs. We're going to have a look at IWEAVEIT for your iPad or iPhone. So if we click here, we can see that for Apple iOS, these are the links that you need. So if we click here, this is going to take us direct to where we can download it for your iPad. Alternatively, you can go to your App Store on your iPad and search for IWEAVEIT, and then you can download from there. The cost, I can't remember how much I paid in 2022. I think it was $30 or $40 Australian, and I think it's around 25 US, and I'm not really sure how much it is elsewhere around the world. But for me, I'm pretty sure it was between $30 and $40. I like the fact that it's a once-off fee, which I thought was quite reasonable. The other thing I like is that you can see reviews down the bottom, and also at privacy, it does not collect your data, which I think is really important in these days. So now let's get started. Once you've downloaded the app, it looks like this, which is like a weaving W with shuttles. When you click on the app, it will take you to a home page that looks like this. Now, you will already have some patterns in there that are given to you by the program, but here is where all your patterns that you've saved are going to live. And the one thing I love is the fact that you can save all of your patterns for basically however much storage you've got on your iPad. Now let's create a new one. We're going to click the plus sign in the top right corner. This is your working space here, but first we're going to have to set up the pattern. So let's click the settings up in the top right hand corner, and then we're going to click the pattern setup. Here we can see how many shafts and how many treadles. For a rigid heddle, these are both going to be 2, because we've got a 2-shaft pattern using one heddle, which is heddle up and heddle down. You can change this to 3 shafts and 3 treadles for a pickup pattern or a second heddle, but that's going to be another video. This box here represents where warp and weft meet and is normally treadling. For a rigid heddle, that's nice and easy. That's just heddle down and heddle up. This top line up here, we're just going to click it to activate it. This is our warp and our threading. On the side, this is our weft. And again, we just click the area to activate it. On the very edge, you will see your color palette. You're not limited to those colors, but we will explore that a bit later. Now let's get started with a pattern. Pick a color just by clicking on it on the color palette on the right hand side. Then you're going to alternate 1 and 2 in each box. The 1 represents the slots and the 2 represents the holes. This can absolutely be vice versa, but this is just how I've always done it. To change colours, you just click on a different colour and then do the same thing, and you can overwrite the colours that you've got. We're going to do the same with the weft. I like to do all one colour first and then pick the other colour and then go over the top. Now you can see I've done here a 2x2 design, which is your houndstooth pattern. You can also see in the colour palette little stars next to the colours that are used so that you know what colours you've used in your pattern. The program will automatically repeat the pattern for you for warp and weft. And to have a look and see what it would look like zoomed out, if you take two fingers and draw them towards each other on your iPad, you'll be able to see what it looks like zoomed out. And if you bring your fingers back out, you'll be able to see what it looks like zoomed in. Now, let's change colours. If you click the settings and then click colour setup, this is the little insert page that will come up. I'm going to click on that camel colour because I want that to be a little bit lighter. I'm going to use this sliding bar here. Once I'm happy with the colour, I'm going to click set colour, and then I can click off and back onto my work. Now you can see here that the program has automatically changed to that colour because I chose and changed a colour that had a star in it because it was already in my work. You can actually go ahead and set up all sorts of different colours if you've got specific colours for a project in mind. You don't have to have selected them first. Now let's go ahead and play with some colours. So here I'm going to select brown and add that in. I'm going to add the same into my weft, and then I'm going to zoom out and have a look and see what that looks like. This is the bit that I love the most about this kind of software, is having a look and seeing what things are going to look like with different colours without having to sample first. You can also completely overwrite what you've already done because we haven't saved anything yet. So now I'm going to look at a completely different design, and I'm just going to go over the top, and then I'm just going to add in a few more ends in a different colour as I go. I'm going to mirror this in the weft, and then I'm going to have a look and see what that looks like. Another feature that is really helpful is having a look at your pattern in isolation without all the repeats. So to do that, you're going to click this square up in the top right corner, and that's going to show you just what you've input, just the pattern without the repeats. This is really useful in calculating your ends and how many ends you need per pattern, which will also help you work out how many pattern repeats, if any, that you want in your weave. Now, let's save this pattern. We're going to click the settings, and then we're going to click Save As, and then we're just going to put in whatever name we want to save the file as, and then click Save or Rename. And that is going to save that to your pattern directory. Let's check now and make sure it's there. Click the Settings button, the New and Open button, and then there it is, sitting there and waiting for us to use whenever we wish. On the left-hand side here, you can see the locations of where you can actually save your patterns. I save mine to iCloud. You can also put some in your favorites, which makes them easier to grab, especially if you've got a sequence that you want to follow or you have a lot of patterns saved and you just want to go back and save them. Now let's have a look at editing colours for an existing design. I've just chosen this design here because I never was really happy with the colours that were in there, even though it does look pretty. And I've decided I'm going to swap the yellow and the beige around and just see what that looks like. So again, I'm just going to click up the top where the warp is. Then I'm going to click the colour that I want to change on the colour palette, and then click where I want to change that. And then I'm going to do the same with the yellow, because I think swapping these colours is just going to make a big difference. I'm going to do the same on my weft and just swap those colours around. And then I'm going to zoom out and see what that looks like. And to me, that looks so much more balanced. So that's definitely a pattern to save, and one that I can do at a later stage. Now I'm just going to save these changes by clicking Settings, Save. Then I can click Settings again and go back to New Open Files, and there I can see that it's saved with the colour changes that I've made. Now let's get a little bit more in depth and have a look at cutting sections out of your pattern that you no longer want. Now to do this, we're going to click the square that's next to the circle here. This activates all of the editing buttons at the top. Once we're there, we're going to click and hold the section that we want to get rid of. You can see there that it comes up with a red box. I'm going to drag the edges to where I actually want to delete and cut it, and then I'm going to click on the scissors, and that is going to cut that section out. So let me show you that again. So I'm going to click and hold, drag to the edges of where I want to cut, and then click those scissors, and that's going to cut that section out. Now don't panic if you make a mistake, there is an undo button, so you can click that and that will put everything back that you've just cut. You can also click this square which is select all, and then cut everything if you want to start again. Now let's have a look at what to do if we want to change a pattern and add things into an existing pattern, which means we don't have to go and change absolutely everything after where we want to put the changes in. So I've just chosen this pattern. What I want to do is I have 96 ends. What I actually want is 100 ends. So I'm going to have to insert 4 ends into the pattern. Making sure that I've got edit activated, I'm going to click and hold where I want to insert. Then I'm going to click this icon here, and that's going to insert however many I've highlighted. So I've highlighted 4, it's going to insert 4 for me. Now I'm going to go and click on the circle to get back into weaving. And then I'm going to click black and then add in the 4 colours that I want to insert at the very beginning. And now if I scroll all the way to the end of the pattern, I can see here that I now have 100 ends, which is what I needed for my pattern. Now I'm going to go ahead and mirror this in the weft and add 4 black lines at the very beginning of the weft. Now let's have a look and see how we can use this knowledge. So with this pattern here, we've worked it out to be 100 ends. Now, if we have a look at a tendent reed, which is what I would use, a tendent reed is 10 ends per inch, or it's 40 ends per 10 centimeters. So if we have a look and measure out an inch, you can see that if we include the slots and the holes, there will be 10 ends or 10 threads per inch in this reed. So we're going to take that knowledge and apply it to our pattern. So if we have in Imperial First a tendent reed with 10 ends per inch, if we want a 20-inch project width, then it will end up being 200 ends because it's 20 times 10. If we have a look at metric, we've got a tendent reed with 40 ends per 10 centimeters. So that will be a 50 centimeter project. And again, 200 ends because 50 times 40 equals 200. So for me to use this pattern to get a 20-inch width or a 50 centimeter width, then I would have 2 repeats of this pattern to achieve that width that I wanted. I hope that made sense. Sometimes these things can be really confusing. Let me know if I've explained that well. If not, I'll do a separate video on EPI, WPI, and all of those kinds of things to help you. Let's now look at how to delete unwanted patterns. So you can see I've got patterns that I haven't saved properly. So I'm going to get rid of these. The easiest way is to click and hold, and then you can see the delete button there. So click and hold and then click the delete button. Very super easy and very intuitional. Now, there are other editing buttons that you've probably noticed up the top there. They're not going to add a lot of value in a plain weave on a 2-shaft pattern. They can come into play when you use a pickup stick pattern or a second heddle, but that would be the subject of another video because I feel like we've already gone way past what I wanted in time for this video. But the main ones are up there. So we've got cut, we've got undo, and we've got insert. And they're the main ones that you would use for a plain weave 2-shaft pattern on a rigid heddle loom. There are other addables within the program. I haven't purchased any of these. There is the designer tools, the track treadling, and the project calculator. The top 2 designer tools and track treadling I think would come into play if you had a 4-shaft or an 8-shaft loom. Sometimes they can help if you've got a 3-shaft pattern using 2 heddles, but I have not use them, so I can't comment on them. The only one that could possibly add value is the project calculator. Again, I haven't purchased this as I like to do my own calculations, but if anyone has used IWEAVEIT and used the project calculator, let me know what you think. I would be really interested to know. I will do a separate video one of these days on how to calculate yardage, meterage, and width, and how much yarn you need so that you're not playing yarn chicken, but that would be a future video. Please let me know in the comments if you found this video helpful. And also let me know in the comments if there's any other kind of video that I can do for you that will help you on your rigid heddle weaving journey. Just let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please click that like button and that will really help my channel. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day.